Welcome to NocBro Nation.
What's up?
Hey guys, today we're here to review Walking Dead, issue 174, A Solitary Life.
Now this might get us, not getting monetized, but I don't care. Holy fuckity fuck. Awesome.
Seriously, that's the guidelines?
I have no, their guidelines are all messed up. It could be thumbnails, it could be curse words, it could be whatever. I don't care. This issue was...
It was amazing. Like,
awesome.
This was probably one of my top issues of The Walking Dead so far. I just, not because I'm a Negan fan, I loved it. Like, it was awesome.
Great. It was great. The ending was even amazing. We'll get to that later, but all in all, this issue was by far top notch.
Yeah, so we did predict in our... Well, first of all... We're not going to spoil the ending right away, but a lot of our predictions were right. If you haven't checked out first of all, if you haven't read this issue, spoiler alerts, if you would like to watch the predictions video, please do. We'll put a link down below of the predictions video for this issue.
He was right in the majority of the predictions. I was wrong, but yeah, he got it right.
Look, it was one thing that I've been waiting a long time to see, and I actually think a lot of people were waiting to see this interaction between these two characters, and we finally got it. So let's kick it off. Negan obviously is living the solitary life, right?
Yes. He's out on his own. He's hanging about. The very first panel is actually amazing. Just his dialogue, but he's basically picking a flower out of the ground, which you wouldn't think that he's talking to a flower, but
you wouldn't think it's a sunflower.
It's a sunflower. He's like, "Oh, you're just the gorgeous fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm gonna get you now."
Thing.
Yeah. And we have something in common. We both have long roots.
Yeah. But roots is the meaning of his member. And we won't go any further
than that. But just amazing. And then we get him see him. There's a couple walkers that come up on him. He doesn't even kill him. He just pushes them aside, and he's like, he kind of thinks at first, well, you might kill somebody that I might be with later, or you might,
So basically, what he says is, you two effers or whatever might kill someone that's might go after or kill someone that's going to kill me.
Right.
So his defense in that was to push them down and basically let the walkers live.
Just leave them.
Let them be. I should say.
Right.
So that eventually they'll kill someone else and not him. They do play into the later issue, which was awesome, the writing, right?
So after basically he pushes the walkers down, he has his sunflower, he's running off. He kind of says I'm close to home. And what's interesting is that we find out what home he's talking about.
Yeah. And this was probably one prediction I did get wrong. I thought that he was kind of more roaming around and scavenging. And that because in one of the preview panels, it shows him getting in the back of a food truck. Mm-hmm. So I thought he was crashing there. And that's not what it turns out to be. It turns out that he's actually on some type of ranch.
Yeah, he's on a ranch.
Or farm.
There's a house, and I think that we also predicted that maybe he would go. We're kind of thinking maybe he would go back to the Lucille, where his wife was in the hospital.
Yeah.
But that absolutely was not the case. We really don't know where he is, but he's just in a farm area, an open house, an open area where he can just live and be who he is.
Yeah.
And that's where he's been at.
So Negan is dropping off the sunflower at a grave. Mm-hmm. Now, you and I talked about this.
Lengthily.
You were in the position where Robert Kirkman possibly did this on purpose. We'll get into it here. But it's really confusing because Negan starts to talk to the grave. And we don't know if this is truly the grave of Lucille, his wife, or Lucille the Bat.
Yeah, it's very confusing because as we were talking kind of off camera, in some of his dialogue, it seems like he's talking to his dead wife. Yeah. In other parts of his dialogue, it seems like he's talking to Lucille the Bat. And it's kind of confusing. And in my opinion, I think Kirkman left this out. He didn't want to show so many panels of him going to the hospital, fighting his wife, if she was still alive, putting her down, dragging her to wherever he was going to bury her. I think we just kind of skipped that part. And to me, I think he's talking to his wife, but there are some instances where he could be talking to Lucille the Bat, and it's weird. It's amazing. I love it. but I want to know which one.
Yeah. And look, and the reason why it's
great,
so
though.
confusing is because in the Whisperer War, we got scenes of him burying Lucille because of it breaking.
Yep.
And he talked to the bat there almost like it was his wife.
The same thing.
He cried over it almost like it was his wife. So here we don't know if we're at that battle scene or that battleground where he buried Lucille, or we are actually at Lucille's grave. We truly don't get really any confirmation here.
We don't, and the only confirmation that I kind of assumed is, as he's talking to the grave, he's kind of mentioning, I know you weren't very much into flowers, but maybe, if you would have been alive, maybe you would have changed things, maybe you would have been different.
Yeah.
And kind of that dialogue, it sounds more like his wife, because he does mention, I'm kind of sounding crazy talking to maybe a bat, but I'm talking to my dead wife. So it goes back and forth. It's really strange.
Yeah. One key moment in this conversation is where he starts talking about living in the apocalyptic world.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that maybe it would have been better if she had survived and he had passed away.
Exactly.
Because he felt, I think he said he felt she was stronger.
She was stronger and she would have made better decisions possibly.
Yeah, because look, and just in that sentence, you said it right there. Just in that sentence, you can tell that the decisions that Negan's made in the past have really gotten to him.
Yeah, they really have. And we'll get a little bit further into the issue. It comes to fruition of what's going to happen, of how he kind of explains of how everything that he thought he did, he thought he was doing it for the right reason. He thought he was doing it to protect people, to survive, but he realizes now that it wasn't the right thing to do. So, it's just very confusing. We really don't know truly which one he's talking to, but I just love the aspect of him. Either his wife or the bat, but we don't know. But we continue on with him, kind of getting some cool scenes of him scavenging for food, and this next part was just absolutely amazing with him killing a dog.
Yeah, I thought it was a horse at first because
I did it first.
The way the shot is, it's kind of it makes it look like it's far away, but it's not.
No.
And it's actually a dog because in the next panel he is at the fire talking to himself again. And I love this because when you're out there alone, you have no one around you, you're going to talk to yourself.
You're going to talk to yourself.
Like to keep yourself company, or at least I know I would, right?
Right. Like the Tom Hanks movie with him in the volleyball.
Castaway.
Yeah, Castaway.
Wilson.
Yeah. You're going to talk to himself? Yeah. So he's like, I'm starving, okay? And then we get a shot of him back at the grave saying, yeah, I felt bad about the dog. It didn't even taste good, but I was hungry.
So then this is where we get the preview that we saw in the preview shot of him running into the truck. And it turns out to be, this was another awesome, funny scene. So he finds a food truck, canned food, various goods.
And he says, motherfucking jackpot.
Yeah. And then the next panel, he's saying, fuckity fuck, 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 because he's literally got his pants down, shitting in the bushes.
He is probably, he's like, F you, expired canned food. He is probably just having the massive case of diarrhea. But hey, you fed yourself.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
You know what, though? That's Negan.
It's Negan.
I loved it.
I loved it.
I loved it. So, and another thing to note here is he's out in the beating sun in a leather jacket. He's still sporting that leather jacket, which I love.
He's hardcore. And we get to him kind of saying, he comes across, looking in the distance, a little bit farther distance, a barn. He's like, all right, one last place to go check. And he goes in, and right when he opens the door, there is a nice, beautiful, brand new, crisp, new bat sitting in the corner.
Yeah. And it's awesome because the panel shows the bat leaning up against the wall and a ray of sun just beaming right on it. There's the little circle emblem on it.
Lucille 2.0.
We all know that that's Louisville Slugger.
That's right.
But they don't obviously put the brand on there.
They can't advertise that.
But yeah, it's awesome. So Negan sees this, and obviously it's going to immediately resonate with him.
He just says, no. And he walks away.
Yeah.
He walks away from it. But the one panel where it shows him, he's got that look in his eyes. He looks so pissed off. That evil look.
Yeah.
And we don't know exactly what he's thinking. He's thinking either, I want this again to become an evil man again, or I'm so frustrated, I have no idea if I want to take this, if I want a new Lucille 2.0 bat again, ever.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
it left it open just for something because you don't know what he's thinking.
It really does. Even the end leaves it open, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we get him back, and he's sleeping. Then he's back at the grave, and what is he? This is where we get the sign that, or the phrase of, "I'm talking to you." Like you're a bat, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he says, "I'm talking to you like a baseball bat, but I know that you're my dead wife, Lucille."
Yeah.
And that's why
that's the confusing part.
That's the confusing part
because we don't know.
It's kind of gone back. No, it's kind of gone back and forth.
Yeah, we don't know if he's saying, "I'm talking to you like you're a bat, but you're my dead wife, Lucille." So we don't know if he's talking to the notion of Lucille, or the fact that she's literally buried under right where he's talking. So it's again, I have a feeling we're never going to find out either.
I don't think so, because we're going into a new arc after this, and we're not going to find out unless Kirkman writes it in a little bit later.
Yeah, but, we may not even get we may not even get Negan for a while. He might just be off. Maybe they'll cut to him every once in a while, but I have a feeling like there was a purpose for this standalone issue of Negan, and that's possibly because we may not see him.
That's true, because I was seeing on Twitter that a lot of people were excited because this is technically kind of the 75th anniversary issue. He's been in there for 75 issues since issue 100.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Pretty awesome. But we cut to him. He actually does go back to the barn, grabs the bat and says, "I want to feel alive again." I want to feel alive again.
I am young again, and I want to live.
I want to live. And he's walking around with her, and he comes across a barbed wire fence, and he's like, "Oh, would you? Fuckity, look at that."
Yeah, he's like,
And he starts taking the barbed wire off the fence, starts wrapping her up like he did before.
Yeah, and basically he's talking to it again, like it's Lucille, and he's saying, "Look, I know this feels uncomfortable right now, but in a little bit it'll feel smooth. It'll feel, talking about the barbed wire hurting the layer of the bat."
And then we get the bombshell right here at this moment.
Maggie shows
up.
He is literally, he has his back turned to the doorway.
Yeah.
And he's wrapping up this this Lucille 2.0, and in barge Maggie, and she says, "You already have plans for that."
Yeah, he's like, "The fuck?" It's Maggie and Dante. So, as you know, Dante was following Negan, and he pointed on the map, marked with an X, where he was. And from the predictions, Josh got it right. Yeah. He predicted that Maggie was going to show up. I didn't think it was going to happen, and it happened. And from this point on, this issue, amazing.
Yeah, literally, I liked it. It was compelling in the beginning, but this shot it to a whole different level.
It did.
And I only predicted that simply because it's something I've been waiting for. I've been wanting this interaction since 75 issues.
Yeah, I have too. I just didn't think. I don't know. I thought maybe Kirkman wasn't going to have it happen, or if it was going to happen down the line, but it happened now, and I love it.
And it was beautiful. The way it was done, it was gorgeous. Beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous.
She says, "Do you know who I am?"
Yeah, do you know who I am? He's like, yeah, I know who you are. I don't think I would mess that up. I know exactly who you are.
Before that, though, she's like, "Dante, wait outside."
Yeah.
So she wants to be alone with Negan. And
and what's interesting is, because, she's standing there with a gun in his face, and he's completely calm. And she actually says, "You seem pretty calm about this." And this is where we get the breakdown of Negan.
Before that, though, I do want to point out she asks, "You know why I'm here?" So good. You know why I'm here.
Yeah,
then.
You know why I'm here then. Yeah.
So, and Negan basically says, "Yeah, I do know why." It's almost
do the same thing.
It's almost, exactly. It's almost like he's expecting to be basically killed.
He was expecting it.
Yeah.
He was expecting at least someday that Maggie would come around and kill him for what he did to Glenn. And right then and there, he was just like, I understand what you're doing here. And what was interesting, though, was that Negan is is very sympathetic, and this throws Maggie off very much.
It pisses her off.
It does piss her off.
Like,
she gets
he
enraged.
says he's sorry for what he did.
Mm-hmm.
He even mentions Glenn by name.
He's like, well, your husband, like he was kind of saying something, and then she yells out husband, and he was like, his name was Glenn, right? That was it. His name was Glenn.
Keep in mind, this was the same guy that for several issues after what he did with Glenn, made jokes about killing Asian people.
Yeah.
So he's completely changed, and it's not because he's about to die, because he's accepting that.
Right. And this is where Negan kind of gets into, he doesn't, I mean, he kind of mentions, look, a lot of people in the early days, a lot of people were dying around me, and I felt like I had to do something. I felt like what I did, even though it was terrible, I felt like I was protecting my people, I was doing the right thing. Because he was kind of referencing, he didn't say it per se, but he was mentioning about Lucille, his wife, who died. But kind of going back to his early days, if you've read the story of Here's Negan, of everything that happened to him in that storyline, of everyone dying around him and how he became who he was.
So before that, though, what angers Maggie is she thinks that this is just a ploy. Like, she thinks that, like, you're trying to give me sympathy, or you're trying to get sympathy from me. I'm not falling for it.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so
good. And
good.
she's screaming while pointing the gun at him.
Yeah.
And the next lines from her are simply, one of the saddest lines, because basically what she says is, for years, every time I close my eyes, and I'm saying this in layman's terms, not word for word, but every time I close my eyes and think about my husband, she said my husband, I see him beaten up, bloody,
screaming my name,
eye
hanging out,
and
because
she describes the scene of Negan killing him.
And she asked Negan, she was like, when you close your eyes, do you see your wife? And he's like, I see my wife, I hear her voice clear as day. And it's a completely different situation for Maggie, and that's why she's so enraged and so pissed off. And so she's just really upset with him that he's kind of taking it a different. I'm sure she didn't expect him to do this with her.
Look, she expected the same Negan that. She expected the same Negan that was in issues 100 through 126. And she, from 127 up until now, that's who she thought Negan was. He was not this forgiving or changed person that Rick knew.
Right. And he even mentioned, Negan even mentions to Maggie, I'm sure you were pretty upset that Rick kept me in that cell for quite some time.
Too. This is a person that is changed, and he even says in there, Rick changed me. Rick caused me to think that we could make this world a better place.
Exactly. We could live in this world, That's just a mind.
I mean, you go to kill someone like that, and look, if it was me, I don't know if I'd have the strength not to do to him what Maggie did, but or not what not to do.
Right.
But she basically looks upon him and said, well, first of all, he says, kill me. And not just kill me, but what poetic justice than to kill me with the bat.
With Lucille, because
Lucille 2.0.
You kind of see a shot of her looking at Lucille, or looking at the new bat that he constructed, and he's like, what a way to go out of you just taking your vengeance the same way that I did to your husband. And she actually decided that she wasn't going to kill him, and you see the look on Negan's face at first was just kind of in shock, and then he goes ballistic. He grabs her hand, points the gun to his forehead and said, do it. Freaking kill me. I can't live alone. I can't be alone. I can't do this anymore. Just do it.
And he also says, I can't forget what I've done.
Exactly.
I deserve it. So here, this is what we were talking about in the beginning. He really genuinely feels bad for what he did to Glenn, and many more before that.
And you see the look on Maggie's face. She looks absolutely frightened. And I think she looks frightened and absolutely just gobsmacked, basically. Like, okay, this man was a brutal man. He killed my husband. He killed many more without even blinking an eye, and now he's begging for me to kill him.
Literally saying, "Please, please, please."
And she doesn't.
And I think at that moment she feels sorry for him.
She feels pity.
I mean, and you look down on him, and she says, "I'm not going to kill you."
She even tells Dante, because Dante, as she's walking outside, Dante's like, "You didn't do it," and she's like, "Not worth it."
Yeah, and here's Negan looking up at her, crying,
just crying, and yeah, you saw tears in Negan's eyes. It was, oh my god, it was so freaking good.
It was amazing. It was literally amazing. And as she walks out to Dante, she sees the two walkers that we were talking about before, and she shoots them. Because here, sorry guys, I'm like itching my nose like crazy. I did not do drugs before this video. I actually am getting a cold. But the two walkers that basically were walking by Negan earlier in the comic are now walking towards Negan, who is, burrowed down, and basically you get the sense that he's going to let these walkers just take him out.
Right, and that's what Dante says. Are we just going to let them kind of, after, his sentence gets cut off and Maggie just shoots them both, because he was kind of going towards just going to let them eat him. And then immediately after she shoots him, she turns and kisses Dante on the lips.
Now, what were you thinking?
Blasphemy. You cannot take another lover, Maggie. Glenn is yours only.
How dare you?
How dare you? No, but it was really good. It was really good.
I honestly thought it was a good moment.
It was great. Yeah.
If she had slipped right to Dante, like, the 5 issues after All Out War, then yeah, that would have been too soon. We're 75 issues.
It's been a while, so she's got time. She's grieved. She still loves Glenn, but you got to move on.
And Dante has grown on her a lot. So we get a broken Negan, and what do broken people do? They get right back up.
I love it.
He takes the bat, puts his leather jacket on, and I'll let you explain the rest.
Builds a massive fire, and he throws the bat into the fire, and the last panel of him is walking away, and he's got this nice calm smile, look of, I don't even know what to say. I mean, this look of, I think he's healed.
Yeah,
I think he's good.
Exactly. I think it's a look of relief.
Relief. There we go. Yeah. I honestly think Negan now, depending on where we pick him up, if Kirkman does, I think he's going to be a good guy. Yeah. I think he's going to be part of the survivors.
I would have to agree. For many issues, I questioned if he was going to turn on Rick, and he never did. Nope. I questioned if he had some plan in the back of his pocket eventually, he never did.
We both did.
Saved Rick's life numerous times.
Never did.
He's a good guy now. I think he's
I think just by signifying that he's burnt the second Lucille that he found, he's done with that life.
Yeah, because I
think he's moved on. I think he's finally come to grasp with, yes, his wife is dead. Mm-hmm. He named his bat after Lucille. He found another one. He thought maybe, I can live again, be young again. No, after the altercation with Maggie, I think he's done.
And just to close this out, I think to him, it would have been so easy to take that bat, find another crew or group, and have a Saviors 2.0 and go back to the dominating life that he had before. Yeah. And I think throwing that bat in the fire basically giving himself a decision that this is who I'm going to be. I'm going to be the person that Rick made me.
Yeah, exactly. So, all in all, amazing issue.
Probably, again, one of my top. It's in my top 5.
It's in the top. I love it. Let us know what you guys think. We absolutely enjoyed this issue, and I will miss Negan. I think we're not going to see him for a while. We're going into a new arc now, New World Order, and I just don't think we're going to see him. Maybe mid next year we might see something.
I have an outlandish prediction that I will give later. Have we already done a 175 predictions?
Not yet.
We have not. So I'll save my Negan prediction for the 175 video. Yep. That doesn't mean that he's going to show up in 175, but I have an outlandish prediction that I'd like to go over.
We'll save it for that.
Yeah. So stay tuned, guys. Thumb up the video if you liked it. Definitely, guys, that helps out a lot.
Yes, indeed. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. Always follow us on Facebook and Twitter for updates and any weird things we're posting, because we're crazy and weird, but we love Negan and The Walking Dead. So stay tuned. We'll see you guys later. We're NocBro Nation.
We're out.